Welcome to the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast, where we help entrepreneurs build a life and not just a business. I'm Stephanie, your host and your mentor, and today's episode is really special. I did an episode, my last release was episode 26, and it was talking about trust. And the trust that I was mainly focused on is the trust that you have within yourself. You know, you'll figure out that everything that I speak on, I put the responsibility on myself. I put the responsibility on you as yourself. Everything starts with you, me. And we must first trust ourselves before we can learn to trust anybody else. And I mean, you should be treating yourself better than you treat anybody. And I truly believe that. And I truly mean that. There's nobody more important than you. If you don't take care of yourself, you are not in the position to take care of anybody else. If you don't look out for yourself, if you don't keep your ducks in a row, if you don't earn the money that you need to earn, if you don't control your emotions and you don't learn on a continuous basis and all of that, you are hindering everybody that's around you, that's depending on you, and that you love. This introduction is going to be a little longer than usual because I just want to lay the foundation and tell you, how I got here. Um, I'm recording from a different location. I moved around in my room trying to relax so that I can be, more myself. And I'm not going off of a script. I'm only following, my outline, introduction, content, resources, story, conclusion, outro, call to action, and then the outro. I'm following that. I got some feedback this week from somebody who knows me really well, and they listened to the podcast and they were like, the content is great. The content is really good, but the delivery was painful. Those are the words that they used, painful. And as hard as it was to hear, the truth is the truth. It is what it is. And I knew exactly what he was talking about. That's what I think it was episode 10 when I did my freestyle. And I was, telling people, I got to go through a process. I got to be bad before I can be good. I got to be terrible before I can develop my skill set, 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours, whatever it takes. I want my personality to come through. I want it to be entertaining, and I want it to be captivating and bring you back so that you continue to listen. But my desire to deliver value trumped my personality. It trumped my ego. It trumped the charisma that I may or may not have, or what I believe that I have. It trumped all of that. And I still stand on that. I definitely want to deliver value, but this is my attempt in relaxing and trusting myself to deliver the type of content on the level that I want to deliver it, in the style that I want to deliver it in, and progress. So I want to say that this is a step up, but we'll see. We'll see based on the stats and you know, uh, the downloads and whatnot. We'll see if it helps. But let's jump right in, and we're gonna go to the quote because I normally start my episodes off with a quote, and I'm going to be reading this quote. The quote says, "When life knocks you down, try to land on your back, because if you look up, you can get up. Let your reasons get you back up." Life didn't knock me down. Nothing exactly happened. This week, um, back up. The last episode was about trust in yourself. And I had done some social media posts with a voiceover talking about show up. Even if you don't see the results, keep showing up. Even if you don't think anybody's paying attention, just continue to show up. So that social media posts combined with the last episode about trust and then me disappearing for 4 days, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. And it really, I was doing my best not to beat myself up because I don't do those. I'm not sure if you heard the episode where I talk about the boardroom. I should call it the board of directors, but the boardroom is the setting where I had this vision, revelation, but it was my individual pieces of me, all of the different personalities or all the different aspects of Stephanie that make me who I am. They were split up and they were in this boardroom. And I made a decision, after being freaked out by the fact that I was surrounded by a bunch of people that looked like me and a couple that didn't look like me. And then there was one standing in the corner that looked like straight up shadow. Um, the consensus or the story at the end was that, or what do we say, the plot? it, it was that I'm going to be my own best friend. I'm not going to fight myself. I'm not going to um, hinder myself, beat myself up, talk bad about myself. I'm just not going to do those. I think I just realized that I wasn't looking in the camera, that I was looking at myself. So now my eyes will probably look like I'm looking at you, like I'm supposed to, because I'm talking to you, versus looking at myself and talking to myself. Although we both know that I do that as well. No, real talk, real talk. But life didn't necessarily knock me down. I was recording episode number 27, and I had been recording for about about an hour and 20 minutes. And, my episodes are only, they're 15 minutes or less. All my episodes are under 15 minutes, which is very hard to do when you are a talker. So that's why I used scripts so I could stay on task and, not waste a whole bunch of time, you know, humming and pausing and so on and so forth. I wanted to get the information out. And I had been recording. So each episode, although it's only 15 minutes or less, it takes me a good hour, sometimes 2 hours to produce the entire episode, which includes the artwork for all of the different platforms and the social media and the blog post and the mastering of the audio. It takes about, roughly around 2 hours per episode. So I had been recording for about an hour and 20 minutes, and I accidentally closed the window before I downloaded the audio. I lost the whole episode. And I was already doing this episode at the last minute because I had went away for the weekend, and I got the script and everything done for that. No, I went away for the weekend. I got Monday's episode all done. I was like, cool. And I will work on Tuesday's episode on Monday. I don't like to just be one day behind or one day ahead. Yeah, one day ahead of my episodes, but I have to roll with the punches. You have to roll with the punches until you can make improvements, until you can change things. You have to accept them the way that you are. You just got to keep swimming. You got to keep going. And I was actually doing this episode. I I lost it, and I had the rest of the day and even Tuesday morning to get it done, but I just clammed up. I just kind of like threw my hat in the ring. I didn't get upset. I didn't stomp down the hall. I didn't mess up any of my equipment or none of that. But I stopped working. And then I had a chain of thoughts. An event happened, and then I had a chain of thoughts that led me in the wrong direction, which happens as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a mother, as an employee. even if you're an employee of yourself. It happens. Um, and I didn't know how I wanted to come back and speak on this. But I learned something, which is the most important part of it all. I did learn something. I learned, I identified what was going on, which was a good thing because with the identification, you know, I could do something about it. And like I said, I was doing my best not to beat myself up and woe is me and fall back into the trap of inconsistency and all of that. I just pushed forward and did my best to stay on track with the rest of my schedule, meetings that needed to be attended, the launch. I have the launch of the business division. The part that uh, is the bulk of my revenue, which is my online business. I was on hold, waiting on an update which was going to be a phenomenal update and was going to change the game for me. But it did give me a break in my business, which was financially stressful. That was part of the financial situation that I was talking about just a minute ago. But the launch is like, oh, it's finally here. And the launch was happening, and I couldn't even enjoy it because I couldn't stop thinking about how I had disappointed myself and how I could possibly be disappointing someone who had gotten used to the consistency of my content and the dependability and the trust um, that I may have been building, that the momentum that I might have been losing, whether it be on a relational level, on a momentum on social media level, because with every episode comes with content that goes onto the social media platforms that draws them to my podcast website and draws them to listen to the new episode, and the emails that my subscribers get, and the shorts that I do on YouTube. If I'm not recording and releasing episodes, none of that content is being delivered on any level. And but I had to tell myself, obviously, you got to get back up. This is not coming to an end. The only way that the podcast would come to an end is because the story has been concluded. And how can a story be concluded when you are designing your ideal life and you are mentoring others to do the same? And life is constantly evolving and it's nonstop. How to There is no end, you know what I mean? Unless I was moving on to something else. But I kept my schedule the best that I could. I pushed forward with that and tried to focus on that, so that I felt like I was doing something, like I was fulfilling some type of obligation, I was getting something done. But I got back up Friday night. I started writing. The new episodes that will be released. I'll probably release I might release some episodes this weekend, which is unusual, but they're catch ups from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Um, or I might just wait till Monday and just release a whole flood of episodes. When I say flood, more like three, possibly. If I can do more than three, ooh, kudos to me. But I intend on getting back up and picking up where I left off. I'm not going to let this slip me back into a character trait that I've been working very hard to correct, which is self doubt. I don't want to live from that space anymore. I don't want to um, have the character trait of procrastination, and I don't want to have the character trait of being inconsistent. I just don't. I'm in the process of developing the person that would manifest the type of vision that I've that I've written for myself. And the biggest piece of that vision, and the biggest prize of that vision, is my world tour that's scheduled to take off in 2025, to travel the world for a year, when that vision was originally planned for 2018. Um, I can't stop. That's a huge vision, and I speak on that, but understand that accomplishing that goal means that I'm earning a certain amount of money per month consistently for at least a year. And it also means that I have established um, the financial instruments that I want to put in place, that I have accomplished passive income, that I've accomplished multiple streams of income, consistent, because I have them now, but they're just not consistent enough to really change my life the way I want it to be changed. But I'm working toward it. And I say all that to say, not to talk about me, but if you have messed up, if you started something that you found yourself dropping the ball or quitting or stepping away from, and then you justified it, you had 1,000 different reasons, and those reasons could be legitimate. But if you have ever done what I did this week to yourself, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be with your finances, whether it be with your business, no matter what the project is, or no matter what part of your life we're talking about, if you did the same thing that I did, get back up. It's okay. It's okay. You may have to pick up momentum again. You may have to make some apologies. You may have to make some changes. You may have to clean some things up, and you may have to explain yourself. But regardless, you've got to get back up. I mean, read enough autobiographies and you will hear how those that have accomplished things that we admire, how many times they had to get back up, how many things that crossed their path or happened in their life that hindered them, that blocked them, that derailed them altogether. Some people missing for years before they pick the dream back up and push forward. And sometimes the dream has to be reimagined, and it evolves into something different. And what you thought you wanted to accomplish, you discover that there was a bigger picture or a better picture or a picture that made more sense for the life that you're trying to create. So, in conclusion, when you fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Don't allow nothing to stop you from getting where you want to go. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast. If you got any value out of this episode, please like, share, comment. Please comment. I want to engage in a conversation. I say some of the things that I say, and I share some of the things that I share because I want to hear your take on it. Even if you don't agree, that's fine. That's fine. You may shine some light on me. You can mentor me. You know what I mean? You could teach me something that I didn't know. You know, I started this podcast to get out of my head, to collaborate again. I've been a solopreneur since 2018. I've been in the house since 20. I wasn't in the house because I was a gig worker. So I was in the car, but I was in the car by myself, listening to books and recording voice recordings that have never been released, and, doing my thing. I really enjoyed it. I truly did enjoy it. But I was by myself, outside of being in the store, seeing people here and there, delivering packages. Somebody might come outside and say hello, or, delivering the food directly to them instead of leaving it on the porch. Cause, I was knee deep in the pandemic, out there delivering and stuff, but I've been isolated for a long time, and you start wondering if you're the only one who feels the way that you feel, or if you are unique in the way that you understand and what you believe. And I need the interaction. I need the interaction. And oh, I have some good news. Two things. I did book my first guest. I have two more in the queue, and we haven't set up a time for the recording yet, but I did book my first guest. And I'm proud to say, because of all this shenanigans, that interview will not be my first full-fledged video on YouTube. This is my full-fledged video on YouTube, and it's longer than 15 minutes. Um, So I hope y'all are okay with that. I hope you're good with that. But I thank you for listening. If you subscribe, you can listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to visit the website so that you can read the content, so that you can get the notes straight from there. If you're the type of person that takes notes, I do a summary and sometimes full-fledged transcript on the website. And then there's some resources and stuff that I offer as well. And if you're a new listener, you definitely want to do the NYB life assessment so that you can figure out where you are, so that you can start developing your NYB lifestyle. And you can use me as a resource. I'm your mentor, your accountability partner, your your cheerleader. I want you to succeed. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to walk around with a genuine, authentic smile on their face, because they are living the life that they want to live, and not just accepting life as it comes, because they have figured out one of the most important aspects of life, and that is to mind to mind your business. Until next time, peace.